Diogenes the Cynic. This is Diogenes of Cynope, otherwise known as Diogenes the Cynic. Oh, sorry, wrong crazy old man. This is Diogenes of Cynope, otherwise known as Diogenes the Cynic. He was a Greek philosopher who lived from around 412 BCE to 323 BCE.
This guy wasn't the I don't give a F about your problems kind of cynic, but an actual follower of cynicism.
And about an actual follower of cynicism, we mean a careless, homeless, non-materialistic, not caring at all about social norms kind of cynic.
In other words, a complete madman. This philosopher thought, as many others with the same philosophy, that the purpose of life was living with virtue and thus, without desires of wealth or power or even material possessions.
He was so extreme with this that his only possessions were a clock, a staff, and a knapsack, and lived in a tub in the middle of the marketplace, eating trash and leftovers.
His life wasn't documented completely, and there are some inconsistencies between the stories of his life, but most historians agree that he lived the most of his life in Athens, and there he developed his philosophical thoughts.
Anyways, here are some anecdotes of his life that reflect how this man acted and lived.
Alexander the Great, yes, that Alexander the Great, was a huge fan of Diogenes. He literally said,
"If I was not Alexander, I would like to be Diogenes."
And Diogenes answered back,
"If I were not Diogenes, I would like to be Diogenes."
This madman answered like this to one of the most powerful men in his time way too often.
"I can give you whatever you want. Money, food, anything you ask me, I can give it to you."
Yeah, you could do me a favor. Move, please. You're covering my son.
Another famous anecdote of this guy was being in the middle of the plaza with a lamp in broad daylight.
He was just wandering around until someone asked what he was doing. He answered,
"Oh, I'm looking for an honest man."
Anyways, Diogenes was also kind of famous with his fellow philosophers, but more in a way that everyone hated him.
Some famous philosophers like Plato hated him so much that they nicknamed him the dog because of his unusual lifestyle. Diogenes, don't give a damn about what they said about him, took it as a compliment. Dogs represented what Diogenes wanted to be, a loyal, happy, and simple creature that needed no material possessions.
But his enmity with Plato wasn't limited to offensive nicknames. Once, the philosophers met and discussed the simplest way to define a man. Plato came up with the definition featherless biped.
So one day, Diogenes ran into the Plato's academy, and in front of his fellow philosophers and students, and with a plucked chicken in hands, he announced,
"Behold, a man!"
So Plato had to add to his definition with broad flat nails and continue hating Diogenes.
Amazingly, Diogenes lived until the age of 89. The causes of his death are uncertain, but some people think he was just tired of living and randomly fell dead in the middle of the street.
The wishes about what to do with his dead body were to throw in the middle of the woods with a stick in his hand to defend himself so savage animals could eat his body.
If I'm dead, why would I care what happens to me?
Anyways, that's all for today. Thank you for watching!